In the fertile plains of ancient India, there once stood a city of learning so vast, so profound, it was whispered to be a jewel of the enlightened mind. This was Nalanda Mahavihara, not merely a monastery, but the world's first great residential university, a beacon that drew seekers of knowledge from the distant corners of Asia, from Tibet, China, Korea, Persia, and beyond. Imagine a place where thousands of scholars and students lived, debated, and explored the deepest questions of existence, philosophy, science, and art, centuries before Oxford or Bologna even laid their first stones. Founded in the 5th century CE under the patronage of the Gupta emperors, Nalanda blossomed for over 700 years. Its name, perhaps meaning giver of knowledge, perfectly encapsulated its essence. Picture this: towering multi-storied buildings with ornate carvings, serene lotus ponds reflecting the sky, and lecture halls echoing with the wisdom of ages. The accounts of pilgrims like Xuanzang from China, who studied here in the 7th century, paint a vivid picture of its intellectual vibrancy and architectural splendor. He described observatories, grand stupas housing sacred relics, and viharas, or monastic dwellings, that could accommodate 10,000 monks and 1,500 teachers. At the heart of Nalanda lay its legendary library, the Dharma Gunj, or Mountain of Truth. It was housed in 3 magnificent buildings, one 9 stories high, named Ratnasagara, Ocean of Jewels, Ratnodadi, Sea of Jewels, and Ratnaranjaka, Jewel Adorned. Within these walls, hundreds of thousands of manuscripts were meticulously preserved. Palm leaf scriptures containing the entirety of Buddhist philosophy, but also texts on logic, grammar, medicine, astronomy, mathematics, and even statecraft. It was a repository of human understanding, a testament to an era that valued intellectual pursuit above all. The curriculum was rigorous and diverse. Students delved into the Vedas, studied Mahayana and Hinayana Buddhism, explored Sankhya philosophy, mastered Sanskrit grammar under Panini's principles, and learned the intricacies of Hetuvidya, the science of cause and reason. The admission process itself was a formidable challenge. Aspiring students faced learned gatekeepers, scholars of profound erudition, who would engage them in rigorous debate. Only 2 or 3 out of 10 aspirants would typically succeed, ensuring that Nalanda's halls were filled with the brightest minds. The atmosphere was one of intense intellectual ferment, yet also of profound discipline and mutual respect. Debates were common, sharpening intellects and fostering critical thinking, but always conducted within a framework of scholarly decorum. Great masters like Nagarjuna, Aryadeva, Vasubandhu, and Dharmakirti, whose philosophical insights continue to influence thought even today, were associated with Nalanda, either as students or teachers. Their teachings spread far and wide, carried by the thousands of graduates who returned to their homelands, enriched by Nalanda's wisdom. Nalanda was more than just a center for Buddhist studies. It was a crucible of knowledge where various disciplines flourished. The medical knowledge, or Chikitsa Vidya, taught here was advanced for its time, focusing on herbal remedies and holistic well-being. Astronomy and mathematics saw significant developments, building upon the rich Indian traditions in these fields. The influence of Nalanda extended beyond the purely academic. It shaped cultures, inspired art and architecture, and fostered diplomatic ties across Asia through the constant exchange of scholars and ideas. For centuries, it stood as a symbol of peace, learning, and the relentless human quest for understanding. But even the brightest lights can be extinguished by the storms of history. In the late 12th century, around 1193 CE, a shadow fell upon Nalanda. The Turkic chieftain Bakhtiyar Khilji, leading his band of invaders, swept through northern India. Misled into believing Nalanda was a fortified city hoarding treasures rather than a university of unarmed monks and scholars, Khilji launched a brutal assault. The monks, dedicated to non-violence and learning, were no match for the ferocity of the invaders. The destruction was catastrophic. Eyewitness accounts, though some debated by historians, speak of a massacre. Monks were slain, buildings were razed, and the magnificent libraries, the repositories of centuries of accumulated wisdom, were put to the torch. It is said that the Dharma Gunj burned for months, the smoke from the smoldering manuscripts darkening the sky, a funeral pyre for an unparalleled intellectual heritage. The loss was immeasurable. Countless unique texts containing knowledge that might have transformed our understanding of the ancient world were lost forever, reduced to cinders and dust. The vibrant intellectual life that had flourished for 7 centuries was brutally silenced. The fall of Nalanda marked a turning point, a profound cultural tragedy not just for India, but for the world. While some scholars managed to escape, carrying with them a few precious manuscripts to Tibet and Nepal, the heart of this great institution was gone. For centuries, the ruins lay forgotten, reclaimed by the jungle, a silent testament to both human brilliance and human brutality. It wasn't until the 19th century that archaeological excavations began to unearth its lost grandeur, reminding the world of what had been. Today, Nalanda stands as a solemn reminder of the fragility of knowledge and the devastating consequences of intolerance and violence. Yet, it also speaks to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring power of ideas. Though its physical form was shattered, the knowledge that emanated from Nalanda continues to echo in the philosophical traditions it nurtured, a faint but persistent whisper from a golden age of learning. The story of Nalanda is a call to cherish and protect our shared intellectual heritage, to foster environments where knowledge can thrive, and to remember that the pursuit of wisdom is one of humanity's noblest endeavors. If you were captivated by the story of this lost city of learning, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more journeys into the fascinating annals of history. Subscribe.